ready to get started? Okay, we have enough. Do we have a chance to read through the minutes?
Yep.
Hold on a minute. Who's gonna take the notes tonight?
Not me, look at it.
We need somebody to do the notes.
Not a good note taker.
Oh, wait a minute.
Found it.
Mr. Campbell,
Hey.
so everyone in favor of Mr. Campbell taking notes tonight? Raise your
I take great notes.
opposed. You got it. You are the note taker,
Sounds good.
taking minutes.
Do you want the agenda?
Yeah, please.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you, baby.
Thank God.
Okay.
Do we have any set of notes? You give them?
No, yeah, thank you.
All right, so anybody have any comments, suggestions, adjustments for the minutes? No? Can we get a motion to accept the minutes?
I motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Good, done. Okay, old business, facilities update.
You're gonna do,
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do yours first.
Why don't we do intros?
intro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, we have two new members. We've gone from two alternates to three, because sometimes we have difficulty having a quorum. So Jeremy Miller,
Nice to meet everyone.
anything you'd like to say to,
Oh, just thank you guys for having me on the board. Fairly new to Londonderry in the last 5 years, but been a long time active in the youth, especially youth sports, but town sports in general. Board of
down in
Concord,
Salem?
Concord, New Hampshire.
Concord, New Hampshire.
Yep, so Concord Northeast, Cal Ripken, very active New Hampshire Lightning softball. Tilton
Were you
Prep.
from Concord originally?
Originally from Pennsylvania.
Oh,
I came
okay.
up, but I've been here for 25 years now, but I'm still.
You're getting close to being in New Hampshire.
Well, it's close. I know.
Another
But
30,
I'll never
40
be
years.
official. Yeah, I'll never be official. But 25, I feel like I've been here a little bit. Work for a nonprofit, law background.
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
Here to do what I can.
Very nice.
And
I'm Mike Campo. I've been involved in Londonderry sports, I think, since I was 18. Started on the baseball side, had 3 daughters, and got pulled into softball. And yeah, spent a lot of time back here and with the booster clubs as well.
you actually started, when you were like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
With
Yeah.
the-
spent a lot of time next door.
What are they doing on the, where they used to have the champion signs and all that stuff? You redoing that?
Yeah, we had a volunteer come in, and for a sign, he painted all of the old wood, so it was kind of faded blue, and now it has a nice look to it. Looks fresh, refreshed up there.
Okay. Good.
All right. Okay, so now we're gonna do the updates.
Yep, jumping ahead, I gotta leave early, so I apologize. But just quick number updates and everything on programs, because now officially all of our spring programs are going. Hi, Roberta. So the last of our spring programs are going. We started with our partnership with USTA, started this past weekend. Everything got kind of pushed back a week because of rain, obviously, like everybody else. But we have our tennis programs off and running for our grades 3 to 5 and 6 to 8. Again, partnered with USTA to do that, so they provide the tennis instructors, so we're able to do just the marketing and getting the word out there and collecting the registrations. So Raman Chakravarti, who is a Londonderry resident, he helped coach with our lessons last year, but he actually is certified with USTA, so he runs those programs up there. Looking to use him in the summer months as well. Our track programs kicked off tonight, finally. For our intro 5 to 8 year olds, we have 37 participants in that. Fortunately, I was able to get 2 volunteers, parents as well as a sibling was jumping in there to help with those numbers. So I originally had capped that, but with getting the extra volunteers, we were able to expand those numbers and get higher registration in there because, like I said, hate saying no, but as long as we have the help, we are able to run those programs. On the other end of that, the Granite State Track and Field for ages 9 to 14, that's the one that competes at the state level in June. We have 17 athletes total in that. So that's jumped up, I think, since last month's updates as well, which officially is double the size of the team that we had last year, which is great. Much quieter group. But I lost my voice earlier tonight from the younger group. But they're fun. They're busy. Looking at summer, just some numbers that we got to is the deadlines are coming up June 15th for our camps, but summer playground programs currently is at 241 participants, with 202 doing the full day program. So 34 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. So again, the bulk of the registrations are still taking advantage of that full day offering that we're doing this year. Voyager Camp, we're now officially at 94 participants for that, so that went up because I was able to get 2 additional counselors. So we now have 3 counselors as well as myself to oversee all those trips and keep us within ratio. Because again, they don't all go on every trip, so we don't have 94 kids going every week or to each field trip. But 94 there, 14 on the wait list. I don't anticipate the wait list opening beyond that, but I was glad to get as many kids in as we did because, again, last year we had, I think, 68 total, so big jump for the field trip-based camp. Summer fun run still got numbers coming in, and then pickleball has just opened up for the summer pickleball at St. Thomas, so they've already, in the last 2 days, I think we've got 16 participants in that, so it's nice to play indoors in the air-conditioned gymnasium that St. Thomas provides. Let's see, talked about the summer staffing updates. The other stuff that we've got going on this year, we are going to be offering a summer staff training week prior to the start of camp. So working on a summer staff training manual right now. I know Art's overseeing it. We're gonna ask Human Resources Town Manager as well to look that over. So as we update our policies and procedures as to how we run the camp, especially with the changes that we've made this year. As Art knows, it was pretty long. It's dense. It's got a lot of information, but that's, when you're trying to look at the safety and regulations, we want to make sure that that's covered. So we're going to have some training days for that, including a CPR class that we set with the Londonderry Fire Department. So they're going to run that for those that need the certification, and we're offering a parent orientation night the Friday before, so for people to come and meet and greet before we start on June 30th. We're also locked in with our summer playground program entertainers that we had. We were going to offer something each week, so that's going to include, we have a dog show coming where they do kind of the frisbee and stunt act, a magic show. Reptiles is going to come and visit Reptile Show. Was able to get in touch with Home Depot. They're going to offer a craft day where they bring all the kits for the and equipment for the kids to come and assemble a craft project. Londonderry Police is going to offer a bike rodeo with us, so we'll have that going on, as well as visits from the big 3 here in town, so kind of a touch truck event that we'll have as well. So that'll be each of the 6 weeks, so there's the 6 events going on, and the themes of each week will be based on that for the different activities that we're having as well. Camp supplies are being ordered, and our shirts are already delivered for our other programs, which is great. We went with a bright pink this year, nice and stands out a little bit, especially from other towns, whether we're doing a track meet or we're hiking on a mountain or biking. It's nice and easy to see everybody out on the trails, especially for myself and staff. We will have a small summer program event brochure that's going to be released probably this week, just waiting on a few dates and times from people. Some of that information has already gone out because of the overlap with spring and summer, but we will have more information with some of our summer tennis lessons that are going on. We have a 5-week flag football clinic that we do, as well as information about big events, which will include the Old Home Day event, which is already, we're getting to work on that. First committee meeting is going to be next week on May 22nd. So getting everybody together with that as we look ahead to August 13th to the 16th this year for that event taking place, which will follow similar format as last year. But after that meeting, the theme and slogan and all that will come out as well. And the last thing, we are partnered with other local rec departments that put together a playground map for all those that have significant playgrounds in the area. So Southern New Hampshire playground map. So that information went out. It's for something for families to do because it's kind of a scavenger hunt of sorts. You can go and visit different towns in the area, Southern New Hampshire, and you go and submit photos that you visited, and then some towns are doing different prizes, and we're going to have those posted as well. So as people kind of go around and check out what other rec departments are doing as well. So that is my rundown. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Nice job.
Yeah, nice job.
Got through it with my voice too. It's between the pollen and the.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to see you having kids and
Mm-hmm.
especially with Voyager.
It's been good. Yeah, it's been really great.
That's awesome.
All right, what, facilities update?
Okay, we've spent some money. We had a problem at the pump house, and the basic problem was that the stuff's been in the water for 20 years. Some bolts rusted. We had to replace the
Foot valve.
foot valve.
Yep.
And it was a little difficult because we couldn't get the parts. And that's probably, what's a foot valve cost?
I think $900,
Yeah.
something like that.
So it's,
And the flange alone is $300, but yeah, pretty expensive.
we're gonna be at around $2,800 for that. And basically it's from age. And not much we can do. If we don't have the irrigation, the fields, and we've been fine now, but if, when the hot spells come, with no rain, we lose the field, so. Hopefully it'll last another 20 years, so in the year 2045, whoever's here will have to worry about it then. We've just, we've spent $534.48 on irrigation heads. For some reason, and Sid and I do not know why, it just, I don't get it, but the water that we use up at Nelson Road is drinking water. And we have more problems with sprinkler heads up there than we do down at West Road, where it's coming, where the water's coming out of a pond, man-made pond. Go figure. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody knows why, but
Yeah.
it could be the caliber of heads that were put in initially, I don't know. So, but we spent $534 on it. We've had a few problems with our mowers. The diesel mower wouldn't start. So Sid went to check the battery, and when he did, he noticed the belts were pretty bad. $318 worth of belts plus labor. And the battery was $176.45.
That's a cheap battery now.
It is, because I remember buying batteries for like $35 and I thought it was high then, but, and then we had trouble with the West Road mower. We're getting an error message, because it's all electronic stuff. And it was, basically, the engine was running too lean. So we brought a mechanic in who fixes them, and he thought it was the fuel pump, and he took the spark plug out, and it was running lean, the spark plug was all white, da-da-da-da-da. The fuel pump was $431.72. It's no bigger than this. About this big around and about this thick. So we've got labor with that too. So I think we're okay budget-wise, so we've had some expenses we've had to come up with, but the cost of doing business. So slipping into budget-wise, we're gonna be okay, because we have the expendable maintenance trust, because we spent a lot of money when we replaced the control board for the irrigation at West Road, that they said would last 10 years, and we're last year at 20. And that was 10,000
Yeah.
something, and I think we thought we would be able to absorb it, but I don't think so, so we're gonna have to. We're going to have to Doug and I will meet with the finance people and then find out where we are. And we can't overspend our budget, that is not allowed, so we'll be okay, but I would have liked not to have went into that fund, but if you have to, you have to. So, long-term planning was on the old business. And I think, did you get a
Proposals?
proposal?
Yeah. Do you want me to, I don't need to go over it, do I, or do you? I gave one to you, wait a minute, hold on, tennis courts, basketball courts. So Vermont Tennis Court Resurfacing came out and, did which is basically what we had before. A little bit higher, but they did a regular crack repair for the, courts. It's just basically tape, and it, it's gone within a year. As soon as it gets cold, it rips through. So that's just a year, for 55-43. No, that's basketball, sorry. That was, I think you guys are the only tennis
Yeah,
courts one.
tennis courts, 8246.
Right, that was more. So it's a stage thing. We need the crack repair is the cheapest, it's 8246. The standard crack repair and coating, which is more of a surface, they say that it lasts 5 years, is 29,117. And then the right way crack repair, which I put the information on so that you could understand how they do it. It is the right way to do it because it stretches, and that you could get a lot more years out of that, and it's 48 for the four courts. Also got the basketball courts looked at, and they're running on just a little bit less, a couple thousand less on each one. So, we have a proposal, and now, I think they like you to get back to, I did drop it off with Jimmy Lazon and with Dan Black, because he had asked for it originally, to see if he was gonna, go in with us to try to,
I don't know what money we don't have money to go in
okay.
with.
Well, so this could be, if this is a start, but again, next year it's gonna be higher, I'm sure. So
Okay, yeah.
this will be at least something you guys can talk about, or we can talk about. And then I know that you had said that possibly with the cost of this and going on a warrant article, you might wanna just go for 4 new courts, right? Is that what you said?
I haven't been overly impressed with the fixing of the cracks. They say it's gonna last 5 years, and then, like you said, a couple of cracks start right away.
We've only done
So-
every year, though. We've never done the 5-year plan, as far as I know. As far as I've been doing it, it's only been a year after, but we only did it a couple years, 2 or 3 years, and then we stopped doing it. We haven't done it now for at least 2 years.
I know, but when we did it, they would say, well, this will last 5 years. But then the next year you go out there and it starts to, you can start seeing the cracks, and I think what we need to do is have them redone, like
From
taken down
scratch.
from scratch.
Yep,
It's like,
it's like 250,000 for 4 of them.
Yep.
That's a year or 2 ago, that's that
Well,
price.
yeah.
So it's probably running around
But
300
it,
now.
it's like when they fix the roads by our houses. If they just go over and skim coat everything, all the cracks are coming back. And then,
Well, but this says 4 tennis courts at 48,000.
Right.
Where'd you get 200,000?
This is, right way is still a crack repair.
It's
But
different.
it's
This is
different.
This is
A-
right.
A total replacement of the courts means going down to the level of,
You didn't get a price for
I
that.
No,
didn't
no,
get a
no.
price
No,
for
no, we
that
should have a
because I
price for
didn't
that.
know. Well,
Oh, we'll have
they
to-
quoted me about 250 2 years ago, so I'm
Right.
guessing it's
That's
around
that's
300.
right on. That's right in line with if you do basic national research on that. That's
Right.
that's right around 250 to 300 probably
Right.
for 4 courts.
Right.
So
But would you spend $50,000 for 5 years?
Right.
but
Instead of
they haven't
200.
seen, I don't know.
I think you gotta look at the fact that you're gonna go for a warrant article, and whether or not you
I
have a
just-
possibility to get 300 through, or you're gonna
I
have to
think
go for
it's
like.
throwing good money.
Well, or do you do one? Do one this year, one next year, one the next year, so in 5 years you got
A lot of
400
time, but-
courts. Or every other year.
I don't think would be cost effective to do one at a time.
I
Well, you
think,
may never get 200,000. You might get 50.
You know, what are they gonna
over.
do, seam it down the middle, you know what I mean? It's a whole court.
I think it's just something you'd have to look at, but this
You
is
have
a
to
good,
look at.
this is, I mean, this is good, having
It's a
numbers
good
is
start.
good, so, thank you for
And
getting
actually,
those
the
numbers.
seam is an expansion joint, it actually helps in the long run.
Yeah, yeah. And he said that whenever you do it, it always goes down the middle, but I know it's an expansion joint you have to have.
So the real question is too, if we go for 4 new courts, it's not gonna be done this year or next year probably, so what are you gonna do in the meantime? Because the cracks are probably, you know, I didn't even take pictures, I should have taken pictures, but the cracks are pretty big. And we've got a Division I tennis team that comes and people come in from Hanover and Bedford and whatever, and we've got huge cracks. So it's just a question of what we're gonna do in the meantime, that's all. Maybe we do the 50,000, get the 5 years out of it, and that buys us the 5 years to get that
Where do we
money to
get the
replace them.
50,000? We don't have it in our budget. It
We're
hasn't
gonna have to
been,
ask, that was the whole point of doing long-range planning, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
Is to
We could
say,
ask
we
for-
need 50,000, we've gotta
To
up
do
the
it.
budget to do it.
but and then, I don't know, I probably not gonna be around long enough to reap the benefits of this. But I think we go to have it done right. If we just patch the cracks, and the first time they ever put down the crack fixer stuff, oh yeah, this will last you 5 years or 6, whatever. No.
So if we can't get 50,000, how are we gonna get 250 or
well,
300?
it's actually 300,000.
Yeah,
If you do the
so-
temporary one, then you do the other one on top of it.
Right.
So it's $300,000.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Well, is
I'm
there,
married, I'm wrong 3/4 of the time, say 80% of the
well,
time,
that's good for you.
90% of the time, so,
So,
I don't know.
what if we talk to somebody in the council and get your thinking about this?
Oh, we got somebody.
We got somebody, there you
Yeah.
go, Deb, so,
We have a liaison that actually comes to meetings now.
So,
all eyes.
I'm gonna go back to what, I'm waiting for the new town manager to step in, to work with a letter, to go knock on a door and try to get some sponsorship. You are more likely gonna get money from the public if you say, look, we fundraised, we got this, we got that, we've got 100,000, just say, now we only need this much, and it was this. And I think you gotta kinda show that you're willing to, it's my own opinion, I don't know, I'm speaking as one, not everybody, but in my own opinion, that's gonna have to be the way that we, if you guys wanna do, is you gotta start thinking like that, is starting to try to find corporate sponsorships. I mean, there's gotta be some out there that wanna do that.
LAFA does a great job with it.
Yeah.
If you go to the LAFA fields, they have sponsors in every fence.
Well, so did softball and soccer.
Yeah.
They didn't come up with all the money, but they came up with tens of
Good shot.
thousands. So I don't know if you have booster clubs or anybody that can
Not
do
yet.
that. But that's how it happened.
But
You know,
tell-
women came up with tens of thousands, 10, 20,000, right? They got the softball field lights and over at the school, didn't that? I thought they put money in on that.
Impact fees.
Oh, was all in? Okay.
And that's, something that the council's talking about, is bringing those
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
They should.
should definitely do that.
They 100% should.
I totally agree with you, I
Yeah.
think we should have
They never should have
impact
gone.
fees, we should have, the
I
the
don't like
development
the,
agreements
yeah, the
and,
memorandum of understanding isn't
That's me.
working, but
I
What do,
agree
what
with
do
you.
the impact fees go towards?
Improvement of the area and the life, quality of life.
yeah, it's supposed to bring with the new community or businesses coming in, it's supposed to bring it back to par.
Yeah,
Because like you build a development and you throw 50 units in there. You've gotta think about what's the cost of public safety, highways, public
Right.
works, school district, recreation.
Right, it hits,
And that we're not, I haven't looked at the finances in town as well as other towns, but we're not collecting as much money. And I see a ton of,
there's a lot of building.
there's too much buildings.
Schools are probably the easiest example to use, because if you build X number of houses and you have 200 kids, what's the impact of those houses having on the town? Well, now we got 200 extra kids, so how many teachers is that? And you can, that's the easiest one to do.
Right.
You can't do it to build You can use it, no, you can't use it to improve, you can
No.
use it
So
to build.
to
You're supposed
expand
to-
the,
to
expand the
expand
use
that.
of recreation,
Yeah,
you can
you-
use
right.
impact fees,
You-
and typically recreation gets 50% of impact fees, so you have to find a 50% match still. So that's most towns, you don't get, like, police, fire, DPW will get usually 100% impact fees, they can spend them as needed. Recreation usually gets 50%, so you're always gonna have to still find the
Still
matching
find.
sources, so.
But Steve, do you think that's a good idea?
It,
To
the
get
thing is though,
impact fee?
with what I was alluding to was, you know, you're not expanding recreation over there in the set, that's what you're gonna run into. If you added a tennis court, if you added a basketball court, impact fees could be used with 50% match, could be used towards that. Expansion of parking lot space, things like that could be used for impact, use the impact fees, but this sort of thing, you're still back to where do you find the funding source in order to do it,
You
so.
could build new ones, but you couldn't fix the 4 old ones. And if, just for example, the tennis teams the boys' tennis team is doing great. Say they just win the state championship, and now we get a whole bunch more kids going up to play tennis, and a lot more parents going up, well, it's increased. We have the need for 2 more courts, but we can't fix them.
I'd still say we're in favor of impact fees though, because there's plenty
Well,
that needs to be done, so it
Yeah,
is just
right.
one of those, but it is, yeah. I mean,
Because we used impact fees for
Hindrances.
West Road, when we built the fields at West Road. And I can't remember how much it was, 130,000.
I mean, it was
I'm
like
guessing.
600,000 for paving, right? But wasn't that mostly impact fees, or,
For paving,
yeah? I came in on the end,
okay,
and
yeah.
I seem to remember the last of the money, I think, went towards because it was dusty across from the homes on West Road, and it had to be done, it wasn't something that was nice to do, it was necessary.
So we have 2 issues. We have the short-term issue of the repair, of how do we make it playable?
Right.
And then the longer term is obviously, when do we start putting in new courts?
Yep.
And so, if the courts are as bad a shape as you talk about, then
He's seen them too.
I see them too, but,
Yeah.
The thing is, they're recreation courts,
yeah.
you know, like, you and I go up as 2 old duffers and hit the ball back and forth, we're fine. Is it fine for high school level players?
When I'm out there doing stuff, I'm seeing kids walking from the school with tennis rackets in their hand in a class environment going up to
Yeah.
the tennis courts.
Yep.
And I've seen twice now. So the high school is using the
We're
courts.
using it.
Yeah, they use them.
The
Yeah,
town's
so-
using it, the
Yeah, the
middle
town's
school's
using-
using it, the high
which-
school's using
yeah.
it, and we're running camps so that,
Which was one of my big things when the
Just keeps
pickleball
around
stuff came up and people said, well, convert.
Yeah, you
tennis to
can't do
pickle-
that.
You
couldn't
can't
do that
do that,
anyway.
number one, because they were
Warrant article.
warrant articles, and the other one was a state and federal grant, and they were specifically for tennis, so we'd have to go through all sorts of stuff, and I would not be in favor of killing one sport for the beginning of a new one,
And tennis is pretty busy there.
yeah,
getting busier.
so.
So is your, just so I'm following here, so is your recommendation that we ask the school to pitch in?
The school had already said they would. I
Right.
talked to Dan Black and he said that, well, so there's an issue. I mean, I didn't realize it at first, but it's actually owned by both the recreation department. I mean, the town courts get taken care of by recreation and by the school, correct?
The school only helps out. The recreation takes care of it, but like if we needed some things done or some mowing done or blowing of the courts, like at the beginning with the leaves, the school will send over their grounds crew, but other than that, it's owned by the recreation. It's not,
It's not,
Okay.
they're not,
we're just very kind enough to
Not
let the school,
obligated.
I mean, we can tell them they
it's
can't
town
use it.
property, it's
Yeah.
not school property,
Right.
so I don't know
In
if
fact,
that's
there's a lot- I mean, there
if
was talk
some
to-
confusion.
He was fine with it. He was open to the prospect of
Good.
splitting whatever it was that we had and decided to do. And he said, I handed him those and he said, let me know how the rec department, how the rec commission feels about it, what the,
What did Jim-
Would he be willing to come to a meeting with us?
I would think
Discuss?
Jimmy,
I-
we can get Jimmy here, but what was Jimmy's thoughts when you dropped this off?
he was confused because I've asked him to put 6 courts behind the school. So
Yeah,
they're all
unfortunately, that got declined, but,
for,
well, I mean, there's just not enough room, but that's for.
that's a
yeah,
definite
that's a-
decline?
I wouldn't say it's a definite decline, but I believe, you know, that's a different topic. I don't think that the recreation wouldn't use it.
No,
You know
it
what I
would be a
mean?
school thing.
And nobody would be allowed on campus, you know what I mean? So it's like,
But
You
that
get
would
some you get some
unload, that would
beautiful-
unload those
Absolutely.
4 courts to now be the recreations
but you still
instead of
run
being
into
the
this,
school.
but you still run into the same issue. You still have to pay 50,000.
Right,
You know, I mean, now we're asking the town to not even pay for 50,000 here to replace these courts, but now add 6 there, so what's that? Another
that would be school
150,000?
budget, wouldn't it, to do those courts for the school? Is that the town, is that a warrant?
That would probably have to go, I mean, they'd have to find another $450,000, I just,
My suggestion would be wait for the new town manager to come in.
And what you could do is if you split the 8,200, it'd be 4,100 apiece.
no, that's probably.
4,300 apiece
Right.
every year
You get a
until
year.
every year until you
Well,
get.
no, I agree with what he's saying.
Yep,
If you do it every year, you're not bound, you're not bound by 5 years, so if you work for new courts in the next 2 years, at least, we have a year's worth
Yep.
we have a year's worth of, okay, we have a year's worth of fixing,
Right,
so,
but come up with a booster club, start setting money.
that's what I'm
aside.
shocked about, so there's no booster club for, tennis?
There's
They
only,
just started it with parents, but it's very.
it's only 8,
Very small?
Yeah.
yeah, how many kids on the
It's about
boys tennis team now?
12 to 16, I think, so.
Yeah.
There's not a lot.
The boys tennis? Boys tennis is doing very well, the girls tennis, I was just at one of their matches,
Yeah, they're doing well
they're
too,
doing well
but
too, numbers
there's
wise.
only like 10 to 12 kids, 14 kids max.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just like he's saying. I mean, you got to find, and like Deb said, you got to find some sponsorships. But I mean, we have all these new businesses coming in. Is that something that recreation would have to? The sponsorship money would be dropped in to a general pool, and then we divvy it out.
Well,
Because, I mean, at
yeah,
that
that's
point-
the thing. I think when you're talking, LAF and sponsorships, having a non-profit status, it's easier to gain
Correct.
those sort of, and then if they're donating to the town from there, I think it's tougher to do.
So, like,
business
for example-
right to town.
Yeah, for like example, like
Right.
for the football field, when they put it on there, it's a
Right.
non-profit, right? So they use the Gridiron Club, and then I mean, if we can make a booster club,
Yeah.
which, like you said, that's probably a little bit easier. But if they drop it into recreation,
You're asking a booster club though, who normally like will buy the kids warm-up shirts or, you know, like something like that.
Passed out water at the races and, yeah, just made a little bit of money.
Yeah, but
didn't-
Yeah.
Do they have a
Is
user
the
fee now?
recreation,
And
is the recreation, 501c3?
Well, we're
Part of the town.
it's part of the town.
I was hearing,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying,
So I'm sorry,
I'm
I
saying
just
like
had to ask.
if we give money, if we went out as a recreation committee and we got sponsorships, at that point it would be up to Art and Doug here to divvy it out how they want. It's not necessarily going towards. It would go to a general fund.
It would go to the,
Council.
say it goes to us, it's gotta go to the town
Be
council.
approved by town council, it'd be put into a designated fund for the purpose of recreation, right?
That's what I mean. But
Yeah.
recreation can spend it anywhere they want, so it's hard.
Well, usually it comes with the idea of what it's supposed to be going towards, and that's
Okay.
what, so it's appropriated for that. I think there was something finance wrote up years ago about that, I think it might have been playground equipment back in 2008. That the
Perfect.
money that specifically went to that was supposed to go to the playground and not be just
Well,
divvied
either
up.
way, back to your point. If we split that,
right,
I would be hard pressed to think that the school district wouldn't be able to come up with $4,100 to help.
yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what they spend on when they send the kids off, elsewhere.
I can tell you, out of our budget, we're not gonna come up with $20,000.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
But-
he's saying
But they come out and say, I can spend 25 grand, here you go.
No, but coach, if we do
Big budget.
what Kevin's saying, we split that number right there with the town
Yeah,
To just repair them, yeah.
to just repair them every year, and then that way we have a year. So next year we can discuss it, or we have.
Well, not only that, next year we put it in the operating budget.
Exactly. Then we have a year, so on and so forth.
but to continue down the vein
Yeah, no,
of
no, had that
nonprofit,
happen before.
so Beautify Londonderry, which is
Yep.
a town committee, right? Fly in here or something. They have a nonprofit status. So the reason I'm saying this is that the state has the gambling funds, that any nonprofit can apply to. And that might be something that you get a lot of funds out of those.
Oh, a ton of funds.
And
Gridiron Club's part of it.
it would be very, very well worth it, in my humble opinion, is if you venture down that road as getting the nonprofit status as a rec commission, and even then, donations by bigger companies are much happier when they get to write it off on their taxes.
Doug, how easy is that?
It's,
We're already.
I don't know that you can do it as
You
something
can't do it as a
in
rec
town.
rec
See
commission can't,
Yeah, that's what
so a
they-
lot of towns have a
How do you
friends
do it?
of, so if you have a
It's a
friends
friends
of,
organization.
friends of Londonderry
Separate
has a
organization.
nonprofit, gets a designation as a nonprofit status, then you can do that and
Didn't we
operate.
used to have Friends of
Are they a
Londonderry
committee?
Rec?
But
It's just a, it's just
Traditionally,
an
like,
it's
in-house
more if
account.
they need
Yes.
to get the nonprofit
I
status.
sat-
You
I
get that,
did
then
meetings with them.
that's where
So-
you can apply for charitable gambling, most,
So I just
like when I was in
questioned
Salem, not
Yeah.
Salem had.
Yeah,
this.
Sam has done it quite a bit.
Right. But that's my past, but that's what they did, when those, you know, when gambling became big down there, everybody with nonprofit jumped in and they were able to maintain field spaces and take care of all that,
And
so.
they're tough to get on those lists right
Yes,
now.
yeah,
though.
it was very
There's-
difficult.
There's years waiting lists to get on.
But it's usually a friends of, a lot of towns have a friends of with a nonprofit.
Is that something that we should look
for the
into,
purpose of
then?
recreation.
Or to rejuvenate?
I think so. I think it would be a good
Well-
idea to have that for the future for these sort of things, because projects are gonna come down the line, and those are, you know, the source of where it comes from is gonna be difficult to find.
I don't know if again, I'm speaking kind of off the cuff a little bit here, I haven't looked at it, but I don't know if the commission itself can be a nonprofit, but a booster club type organization can be a nonprofit that's designated for
Right.
that.
So like Doug, like you just said, if we make it Friends of the Londonderry Recreation.
Well, why couldn't it be used the tennis club? And
Well, that was the other thing. is-
There'll be things
Organization
all
and-
along the way, won't it, for recreation?
you're supposed to be sanctioned anyways as a tennis club, right?
Well, no, that is a good, that is a good idea. I mean, the
Facilities
Booster
are
Club,
supposed to be
the Booster Club could essentially apply for theirs if the Booster Club has been made. I'm sorry, are you on the Booster Club?
No,
So there is a booster meeting on May 29th at the school.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be a tennis club?
But I'm saying there already is one.
Okay,
So we can find out, I can get the information, see if they're already a nonprofit.
right.
And if they
Okay.
are, they can apply for those grants and then potentially have some funding.
Okay.
But that comes down to, you have to look at when they're getting the donations for the money,
Right.
and then they're still going to be using that for the town's court. So how does the money get transferred from the nonprofit to actually work on town property? You know, does the town have to
Well,
agree to allow
That,
them
I
to
think
do
it's a
it?
little, I'm thinking it's a little stickier than
Make it
just,
up to
yeah,
you.
raise the money, we'll give it to them.
Right.
I don't think it's gonna have to go by the town manager, it's gonna have to go by town council,
So then basically, we
just to
can't do
make sure
anything,
it's right.
we can't do anything until the town manager steps in. Town hall.
Well, yeah, but
Right, I mean, well, all final donations are gonna be approved by town council is going to approve that, so it's all gonna, so it's gonna come, you know, it can come simply as it's brought up here at this meeting, this nonprofit wants to donate the money, commission makes the recommendation that the department can then also abide by, and then it continues up there, like you said, up the chain, town
So-
manager, town council cuts on the agenda, it gets approved to be appropriated for those uses, so.
So
a lot
then
of steps to
basically,
get
the
there,
only
but-
thing that, you know, like Kevin said, that's the only, probably the best way to do it though.
okay.
We have to split it with, potentially bring that back to the school and say, if we'll split it, we'll just go a year, and then like he said, we'll work it into the operating budget for 26, 27,
that,
or 26
Long range
fiscal
plan.
year.
that isn't always as easy as it seems to put it in the operating budget, because it's gonna be an increase, and that will be noticed by the budget committee and the town council. So it's not like it's an automatic
No,
thing.
not automatic, but
It's
like,
not like, okay, it's not like negotiations went through with the fire and the police department, so now that's in, the you know, what is that? It's not in the, what's that term,
Default budget.
default budget stuff. Doesn't become part of the default.
What's the town's policy on those sponsorships? So say, whatever, Coca-Cola wants to sponsor the refurnishing of the tennis courts and be able to put a sign up on their courts, whatever the case
I don't
is.
think there is one.
Because if you're looking at a smaller number like that, like $4 or $5 grand, that's something that a corporation, just for especially the tennis team, is doing so well, to have they're not necessarily getting the write-off as a 501c3, but they're getting the advertising, the goodwill from it. that might be okay, so.
And a lot of those, like Coca-Cola and those places have, used to be, 15 years ago, you go to them and say, hey, I need a scoreboard for a soccer, lacrosse field. Okay, yep, you got it, we'll give it to you. It says Coca-Cola. Now, they don't do that as readily as they used to.
Yeah,
If
that
at
was
all.
just an example. It could be any company.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady
Yeah.
Sullivan, who knows?
Chico Bill's blondes or
Right,
something.
exactly.
Yeah,
But someone that's going to get some benefit out of just the publicity, the foot traffic,
Yep.
the the photographs and everything, might be willing to do.
and
something under
but I think
$5,000.
that would have to be a town council.
That's what I was curious. I didn't know.
It'd have to be a policy that they would put out, because,
So then we'll just have to wait
and
until.
then what don't you,
It's part of the long-range plan.
Yeah, well, just, it's
what
one of those
don't you,
things.
what don't you allow? Because like the
We gotta
softball
ask them,
players,
you know, we gotta
the
start
men's
asking.
softball team
100%, yeah.
wanted to
Yeah,
put up
yeah.
signs for their sponsors. And I said, sure, you put up a banner if you want and take it down. But it can't have anything to do with alcohol
Fire
or tobacco. Well, why not? I said, because kids play there. Well, it's an adult field. Kids play there.
Yeah, the girls play there.
The girls play there, and if you go to an NHIA event, and they used to, I'm not sure they still do, but if you play baseball at
Fisher Cats.
the Fisher Cats, do they cover up?
Nope.
I don't think so, because Holman Stadium has a big Budweiser out there that they play their
Yeah,
high school.
they
games
used to,
at.
they used to cover them up.
Yeah, they don't now. The NHIA, they, just
Yeah.
like when we went to UNH, Bud Light was
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't, they can't,
I don't like that idea, but
Yeah.
I'm maybe a little more conservative with that than other people. Of course, if Budweiser wanted to come in and say, we will give you X, like a lot of zeros in this to sponsor this and put a Budweiser stand, yeah, go ahead. So it's a matter of money with me, I think. It's not just principle, but it is principle. But I think the town council, because it's town property, would have to have a policy saying what you can do and what you can't do.
well, we'll just have to wait till the,
You have to wait for the new guy.
yeah, we'll wait till he steps in the town hall then.
Yep.
You can all go meet him too on May 27th.
27th
Yeah,
And I think it's 9 a.m. to
to
11,
11.
and 6:30 to 6 to 8:30 at the police
yeah,
community
the
room.
community room.
So y'all should go there.
What was the
No, we
times,
will.
I'm
please?
sorry, it's May
Right.
27th
Oh.
from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Is that a Saturday? Is that?
Tuesday.
That was a Tuesday night.
And it's May 27th.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, full Memorial.
No, it's coming home right after it.
Right after.
Yeah, it's right after Memorial Day.
Oh, it's early this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I gotta check.
You get it, yeah, you get
Thank you for getting all that, though. That's good information. Thank you.
Um,
I'll email it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Nice
Okay.
conversation.
All right, everybody.
I'm-
See everybody.
Thank you.
see, I'm sure the new town manager will bring Doug and I in and we'll say, what are your concerns? And our concerns are our courts, the fields our fields are in good shape. LAFA's in good shape.
Playgrounds in good shape now, right?
Playground has been, a lot of repairs, new fence, blah, 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 blah. So our big concern right now, the one thing that we haven't hit on are the courts. So that would be the biggie for me. What can we do with this? I'd rather see them done right and just level them. They've been up for, I don't know how many years.
20-something.
No, longer than that for the tennis courts.
Yeah, I've been involved for 25 years.
The two lower tennis courts, I'm thinking like 44 years, 45 years. You know,
Been a long time.
Yeah,
so,
probably got our money out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah,
But the problem is you're gonna take them out of service completely for an extended period of time.
yeah.
Unless
You
you
do it
phased
off,
it
you
in.
do it off season. You do it like September, you do it
Fall.
maybe September, October
Yeah.
or something. So
Yeah,
that
I
you
would,
don't-
I would
But
say
the people
ideally,
are playing out there. Adults are playing out there in
Yeah.
the fall.
well, there were the people playing there in March, so.
Yeah.
There are always people up there.
Yeah.
There are people up there playing in,
We were in December
we're
last
in
one year.
December, yeah.
We shut
So-
off the courts. Yeah, it's just an
It's-
So
inconvenience
a
for
lot, a lot of
long-term
this
benefit.
has to wait till the town.
If you're gonna make an
meeting
omelet, you gotta crack a few eggs, though.
Yeah,
So what are you gonna do? So that will be, that's the one thing that we are, that's the one area that we, that needs improvement. The other area would be our crew that we have, because, no offense, our crew is aging, and we don't have a lot of, everybody's part-time.
yeah, we do
So-
need staff.
It maybe
And
has to be a
backup
change.
staff, right, in case.
No, we're okay with that, everything is fine, it's just like, it seems when, we have 3 mowers. We have an old diesel mower that is, I don't know how old it is,
It was 18 years old.
18 years
So it's
old.
probably 20 now.
it's 20 years old, and the thing keeps going. Problem is, stuff breaks, like, the spring, when Sid opened up, moved the seat, the spring broke that holds the seat down, and that's when he noticed the belts. And it's just, that kind of stuff breaks, but the thing still runs, the engine's fine, I mean, we could, weld stuff on and get it going and go on, but it seems like when one breaks, the other one will break, and last year, one time, we had all 3 down.
Right.
All 3 got fixed within a day or so, but it's like they all get measles at the same time.
Bill, were you gonna work with Sid on that and
Yes.
get a list?
Yep, yeah,
And
I
try to-
already have a list started with your information, and some of that was projects.
So we wanna
I don't know
get-
what
we wanna
list
get
you're talking
maintenance
about.
schedule
We were
for
gonna
these things,
make a
'cause
list
it's
of all,
just
an inventory
random.
of all
I mean,
the
if these
equipment.
guys, if this guy got
The-
hit by a
the-
bus, we wouldn't know.
The thing
Right.
with the inventory though, is, I go back to when I was coaching football in Manchester, one of the guys said, we gotta do an inventory. I said, why? Well, we gotta know how much to buy. I said, wouldn't we buy what we need? I can do an inventory and tell you we have 80 pairs of thigh pads and 78 pairs of knee pads. Is that enough? What good is it? I can tell you this. We needed shoulder pads because we had a couple of kids we were short on last year. And we're gonna need 6 helmets or 8 helmets, so I think we can do an inventory, but that doesn't tell you what you're gonna need.
It just tells you what you have.
It tells you what
which
you
is
have, but
really good, yeah.
more importantly would be to go to Sid and say to Sid, what do you think's gonna break and we're gonna need?
Yeah.
Well, that was the plan.
Yeah,
What's
and
the
that's-
plan?
we
When
just
was the
started
last
everything.
Yes,
maintenance?
and
When's the?
but the inventory doesn't really,
Well, you do, part of it was along with the long-range plan, so that you could say, all right, every couple of years, we have to spend a couple $1,000s on the
Stuff.
diesel mower, or something else. Big bucks things, not changing the oil and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So that was, and that's what we had in the original long-range plan we did years ago.
Yeah.
was we
It's a way to
planned out.
plan, you know,
Yeah,
it's
so-
the only, you need information.
Because you know something big's coming. Like the tennis courts are a great example of that.
Yeah.
You got the maintenance that we're talking about for 48 grand, and maybe new fields for
Yep.
4 million or 400,000.
Yeah,
So it just keeps it so that you're aware of what's coming up.
correct.
And,
And you can plan
That's-
for it, you can plan for
well,
it.
that's right, you can move it out, you can adjust it, but it's a living document, it's not
Yeah.
a fixed in stone thing.
Right.
But-
But honestly, if Sid got hit by a bus, or you got hit by a bus, who knows what we have? We don't know.
well, you get down there, you open the garage door and you count the stuff.
Well,
I'd rather have a list.
When we first talked about it, it was more about,
And if that were to happen, I wouldn't care, because I'd be dead,
You'd
so.
be dead. Well, we would.
I'd be, at night, I'd be looking up from down below saying, hey,
okay, so
okay.
you said we're okay with the budget, we're gonna move on. Does everybody else have anything else they want to discuss on that? Okay.
Yeah. So, new business?
Yep.
We managed to hire somebody for our open position, moving the barrels around,
That's good.
which are on wheels, and it's a high school kid. We had 1 applicant, and I had to change the job description in order to hire a high school kid. And I wanted to put in the job description, pick up litter, move the garbage barrels around, and rake the field out if there's lumps. Because that's basically what he will do. And he's a good kid. He was Sid called him in, he started work on a Thursday, and Sid called him in on Friday of vacation, school vacation, because he needed help with an irrigation leak at West Road, and kid was down there in the hole digging, and it's working out good so far.
Yeah, he speaks highly of him.
And we've got are you able, Michael, as part of LAFA, to get coaches to move wheelie things to their fields if they're?
Yeah, we just haven't had our field cleanup day. Every time, we've had 3 attempts and it's poured
straight
every
ones.
single time.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, but no, that, I think Saturday looks like it's gonna be
okay.
okay. I think we're gonna have some
So-
rain, but
And the other thing,
it's a softball tournament, so it's gonna rain. That's what happens.
Always.
is this yours or?
Mine, yeah.
Yours?
Yeah, so we actually hire a couple high school kids to maintain the fields throughout the tournament, so we can have
But,
them do that in between.
I haven't checked it, but Bill had said there weren't enough barrels down on the 2 lower softball
I
fields.
honestly think they're all next to Perkins right now.
Okay,
I don't think they've been distributed at all, because I
Okay.
know I was down on Rookie this weekend and there was no trash cans there.
okay,
Yeah, it was a mess in some of those areas.
Yeah,
so then,
yeah, so we'll get those distributed this
Okay.
week.
'cause you guys usually take care of that, and then he'll go down and get them and move
Yeah.
something. And thank you that I don't have to do that anymore, which, when I started this job in 1983, my first job was picking up 55-gallon garbage drums that were used as garbage cans, putting them on my pickup truck, backing up to the dumpster and emptying them out and then moving them back. And much easier now with the things that wheel.
Well, and Ralph would put them on the back of the trailer.
Yeah, I know, they're cheating now. They drag them around instead of actually lifting them, rolling them up and stuff. It's not, but anyway, he's on, and he will be around for a couple of years, hopefully. And we did have a little bit of, his mother wanted him to do school stuff, and he wanted to work, and so he wants to work, so he's working. Rec commission positions, the reason that's on there is the town council named Mr. Campo as a permanent, not a permanent, what do you call it?
Alternate?
Alternate,
Not an alternate,
full-time?
as a full-time member, I believe.
Yep.
So did you get sworn, you got sworn
I
in?
did, yeah.
Did you know what you were sworn in as?
She didn't say, actually.
Okay, but I think that's, I
Do you
watched it.
swear? I do.
I did, yeah.
I don't know what for.
I watched it,
It's a long
and
sentence.
I believe that's
He's
what it was.
full-time and then he's an alternate.
Yeah, and then we have another alternate who had been an alternate, so that's
That's
fine.
me.
It's,
I
no,
think I'm an
I thought
alternate.
you were an alternate. Okay, wait a minute, go back.
No.
He's the full-timer now, I'm the alternate.
no,
So I guess you're a full
The
timer.
3, yeah, you said there's 3 alternates.
1,
2,
2,
3, I got sworn in as an alternate
when?
a month ago.
Whoops. I'll check into it.
Look at me.
I was sworn as an alternate last week.
You were. So we could have 4 alternates and 4 members, but I think we're supposed to have 5 members and 3 alternates.
Correct. Has to be an odd number. And it should be an odd number, like it should be a
Did we
two,
lose some
somebody's a
members?
2-year, 3,
We
so
lost
they're-
a lot
What are
of
you
people
kidding about?
Yeah,
over a
so it's
short
not
period
like-
of time.
Yeah.
Everybody's off at the same time.
Right.
Just now?
No, no,
No,
no.
no,
Over a few years.
Over a few years.
No, I'm talking about just now, like,
No, we don't lose anybody.
okay.
I thought Christina was an alternate.
She's an alternate, Patrice is an alternate. Let's see. Roberta's a member, I'm a member, Russ is a member.
I got
Shows
sworn in as an alternate.
vacancy,
I thought an alternate, you didn't-
a member vacancy, that must be Mike.
You guys just don't get to.
What's that?
Yeah.
You're
You're a member.
replacement.
And there won't be the other alternate because
Christina's
Yeah, okay, so,
We got upgraded.
I think the last time we voted on
She was here the
anything,
last meeting.
I thought
Yeah, I know, that's brutal. Like,
1992
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Terrible.
Now, you can call me whatever you want, doesn't make a
This
difference.
is unusual.
Everybody-
My buddy has a couple
Like
kids.
today,
That's
just-
what I-
Yeah,
You kick in and we talk about it.
You guys are just-
I
We
love
agree.
yeah.
We were illegal for a while, and
Oh, it's
none of
good.
us votes
Oh,
down.
God. Yeah, no, we're already starting to change.
I get
it.
care of
with
with
the,
So are you trying to let them to make up their games?
We're trying to,
You're
yeah.
an outlaw, an outlaw
That's
guy,
hard,
huh?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, everyone wants to be done by the
If
time
it was
school gets out.
vocal, wouldn't count for
It's really
that.
not that far off.
So,
So like, there's only so much that we'll talk about working on Sunday. The parents
So we
don't
also-
want to
I
do
don't know.
Sunday. We're gonna throw it out to do the best we can. It's probably gonna be more like pick
My
on.
motion here. What's that?
We've deteriorated.
Yeah, I motion to end the meeting.
Okay, second, who's gonna second?
Motion to, what do you?
All in favor?
Meeting.
Aye.
All right, we're done.
You got it.